It is 6:02 PM on Tuesday, April 22nd, 2025. We're gonna open the administrative board meeting. Roll call, please.
Here.
I'm sorry.
Here.
Jeff Christian,
Here.
Bill Motisi is absent, Nathan Mons.
Here.
Patrick Carroll is absent. Question
Here.
Here, I would say Mons in here.
I remember those feelings.
Here.
Here.
Here. Well, welcome, everybody. Tonight on the consent agenda, we have 3 items. Item 1, March 25th, 2025, Administrative Board Meeting Minutes. Item 2, Bills Payable Warrant List dated April 22nd, 2025, for a total of $113,891.24. Item 3, Outside Meeting Pay for Elected Officials, total of $100. This time, do any of the board members wish to remove any of those 3 items for further discussion? If not, we'll entertain the first motion.
I move to place agenda items 1, 2, and 3 inclusively as consent agenda items. Further, I move that all items be considered together as a consent agenda.
Second. Jen makes a motion to place items 1 through 3 inclusively as consent agenda. John seconds. Roll call, please.
Yeah.
Bill's absent.
Yes.
Patrick's absent, correct.
Motion passes at 6:04. Whenever you're ready.
I move to adopt items 1, 2, and 3 inclusively on the consent agenda in a single group pursuant to the annual vote procedure specified in the Illinois Municipal Code.
Second.
Jen makes a motion to adopt items 1 through 3 inclusively as consent agenda. Nathan seconds. Roll call, please.
Bill's absent, John.
Yes.
Nathan.
Yes.
Patrick is absent, Chris.
Yeah.
Jen.
Yeah.
That passes at 6:05. We didn't even have item D on there in case we didn't need it. I missed that completely. Good thing we didn't need it. Towards the officers from me, discussion on computer support. I'm assuming that's you.
That's the thing we talked about.
Oh, yeah, I remember. So if is everybody using their laptops?
Yeah.
No.
It works, sure.
Okay, so if you're not using them, we're gonna shut the support off for them. We're not gonna sit and pay for services we're not using.
Go ahead.
Okay,
Didn't need it in the first place.
And bring it back.
Well, I can still use the laptop without support on it. For village,
For what, for village purpose? What, you
Yeah.
try?
email,
either way,
you don't need support on it to use it for email. Unless you're an idiot.
Well, sometimes I am.
Oh, okay.
we all have our moments.
So what does our support cover? Doesn't it cover the email system and what?
It does,
Yeah,
and
so-
if there's, if you're having an issue with the computer, they'll fix it, they can just log in remotely and fix it, but we pay monthly for that. And I can see whose computers are turned on and not turned on, and I can see, and well, I can't see it, IT can, and then they send me a report that says, hey, these computers have not been turned on in X amount of time. Can you get them either to turn them on so that they can touch base with them and make sure there's no updates or anything, or can we remove them from the system so we're not paying for the monthly
Are
maintenance?
they remotely updating it without knowing about it?
That's why I don't need mine to have that on it.
I don't care if they are.
Well-
Well, the only thing I use mine for is the village.
Email, all I do is email with mine.
I don't know that that is yours.
Email,
to- See, whether or not we update the computers is not an individual choice, that is the village's choice to make sure that all of our computers are covered for viruses and other things, and they're not getting into our system. It is a weakness for us, and so having a computer covered that is actively being used and being updated regularly is a security feature.
Yeah, I
So
don't-
that's not something that we should just discontinue, but if the computer is not in use for a long period of time, we should discontinue it. And we're paying for a monthly service that is.
Well, yeah, if we're not using it once a month here, then.
And here's what I'm saying, I don't use it, but when I need to look at stuff other than emails on my phone, so. But I use it for that, or to send emails.
Well,
This is a public service announcement for those who have ended up on my list.
I'm not on your list.
But like.
If you haven't received a call, you're not.
Like more than a couple weeks, like that you end up on a list,
I
or?
had one that was over a year and 2 that were over 6 months. One of them was this tablet, so we found it and repurposed it.
Okay,
It
but
was
I'm
really
assuming
cool.
that one of them will be returned soon,
One
thus
of them will be
fixing a
returned.
problem.
Yes, I asked them to discontinue that on May 13th when he's done with his office.
Okay.
the term of office. So
That
that's,
solves an issue there, at least
yes,
temporarily.
yes, and then I have one more.
Okay,
So. Just
You can take it off mine.
food for thought.
well, if you're gonna take it off, then it should be returned, yes, that's not,
That's a board discussion, not Sandy discussion.
well, that's why I'm discussing it right now, actually.
That's what we're under, discussion.
We're taking the service off that.
I'll
protects
take
the-
my chances.
From that, but it's not you taking a
But
chance.
it's the
village
village's
taking a
system
chance.
that's taking a
That's
chance.
the problem.
Oh.
Your security is, your tough guys aren't tough enough. That's why we pay someone to do this. Like, if you're not gonna take the action and protect the village the way you need to, then you need to return the computer.
But we've done that in the
I don't think
last 2 years out of the last 16, so this is just something new, so. I'll hang on to it until my term's over.
Because threats are a much bigger thing
And I
than
don't
they
think
were
they-
once before.
I don't think it could be taken away. It would be voluntary if that was.
Yeah, the earliest you could get it back if I don't want to bring it will be if and when my term ends, so we'll leave it at that. You can take the coverage off.
Yeah. That'll save us a little one. How much is it for?
Well, I guess the second part of that is, do you want to discontinue coverage on a computer if that isn't then returned? Because, and for
Well, it'll
me,
be a
and I deal with
return.
this all the time, the Department of Defense from the US government emails us quite regularly with the weaknesses that for potentials in water and wastewater and emails and servers and all of the things, and so we regularly have to comply with those and check on those and make sure that we're up to date. So do we want to remove a system from a computer that is within the village, has access to the village's network?
So which is it? Are we?
Your call, I'm asking.
No.
That's
Okay,
again.
our computers are, I'll take them all because that's what's the best, so you can keep them on the plan. Or you can take somebody off to take a risk. I mean, those are your choices.
Brenda?
The laptops issued to the trustees for only be used for village business,
Yes.
so
That's all it's used for.
not on the village.
It's not on the village network anyway. It's on my network, which is probably very, very insecure to begin with, so.
That's not true.
Yeah, I bet you
Okay.
I bet you ours is more secure here than the one I use.
It's to be used for village business, so only, so
Mhm.
that's why it's issued to you.
Yep.
I don't care. I think that if we're smart, we just leave them all on there. I don't, paying for them sucks, I get it, but
It
then.
does when we're coming up on a really tight
I
budget.
understand,
And so it's.
But what your choices are, you pay a monthly service or you take a chance of getting breached
It
and
really is.
causing
So,
bigger havoc.
so the
But
people that have laptops that are not actively using them, so they show up on the list, are then costing the village funds to pay a monthly fee for something, for a service that they don't use.
Right. but
What,
you're saying-
somebody did ask, what was the monthly fee?
But that's not what I'm saying, though. I'm saying that your choices to take the risk is, I understand, if let's say Bill hasn't opened his in a year. And you,
He's not the one that hasn't opened it in.
let's say, let's say, okay, let's say either one, Patrick or Bill didn't open theirs for a year.
Or me.
There's little risk that is going to cause it because they don't use it, right? But if they do happen to open it, then they're susceptible, somebody,
Susceptible?
yes, susceptible. And you could be in a problem, so,
The cost of the village is per laptop is $720 a year.
yeah, but you saying monthly you're doing?
So for, yes, $2 well, $720 for each laptop,
Yeah.
which is worth it if you're actively using
Yes.
it.
Well, it's for
But
the
if
security.
we haven't used it for a year, then maybe it's not something that person needs in their life.
Right, and I would think that they would.
I would think they would wanna do the right thing and return it.
Yeah. So you'd say.
Or start using it.
Money. Right. One of the two. I would, if I wasn't going to use it, I would voluntarily give it back, but then I don't know, how do you access your email without having the laptop?
The
phone,
phone, I mean,
That's the only way? How do you
That'd be the
read-
only
how do
other
you
way.
read-
I mean-
any public computer, any
My,
computer.
my village email is on my phone, on my home computer and on my work computer. I can access it anywhere.
So I can put my
Yes.
work email on my home computer.
You're allowed to-
I run Outlook for my,
You're logging into the cloud to check your Outlook. It's not really on your computer. Everything,
Right.
No.
mine's all
it's
Microsoft
all in the
Online.
cloud. It's all cloud based,
Or what do they call it now?
cloud.
Pilot.
But what, yeah, it's,
I don't.
nothing's on your computer. It's all cloud based.
Oh, yeah. Consider that.
You're active.
Yeah. I think that depends. I want to save the money, but I don't want to have to save the money.
Any direction from the board, do we want to just continue paying the monthly
Yes.
fee?
I see it as a, like, if we're not using it, and even if we're gonna keep it and not use it, someone is, it's still a liability being out there.
And I think that we should encourage anybody who isn't going to turn it in. Then you don't have to update it, right? Until, or turn it on until somebody wants. to.
Until it goes into someone else's hands, yeah.
Right. Cost more than a damn computer,
Mhm.
2 years.
Yeah.
Any further discussion on it? You got direction? All right. We're moving on to you. So it's all you again.
So these are created for the planning and zoning commission, after your guys' meeting last time. The first one, if somebody wants to make a motion to approve ordinance 2511, then
I'll make a motion to possible approval of ordinance number 2511. Huh? Just approval, oh, sorry. I can make a motion for approval of ordinance number 2511, an ordinance approving a zoning text amendment regarding R1 and R2 single family residential district.
Jen makes a motion to approve or ordinance number 25-11. Chris, you seconded? All right. All you tell us what it is.
so when reviewing the planning and zoning code, it came to my attention that there was error when the zoning code was approved in 2018 and R1 and R2 were reversed in terms of space use. And so this is just correcting that issue, but it did have to require a public hearing, so we were kind of waiting for another time in which we were having one in which to correct this issue.
I couldn't even tell them, that they look the same to me.
Yeah, they did.
There we go.
Yeah, it's the
Here.
same. What's the difference?
Up here, where's the other one? This one. So R2 should be large lots in a semi-rural setting, and then R1 should be density and compact subdivisions,
Oh,
and so they had these reversed. So this had R1, which is our
Okay.
subdivision listed as semi-rural settings.
Alright, even though they're close together.
Even though we're close together, we are intended by the zoning map to be R1, and so our zoning map you adopted puts that in R1, but the zoning code had it
But
reversed.
those requirements underneath are the same rate.
You have to ask Dan Bolin why
Okay,
he felt
sure.
necessary to change that one too, but.
I don't have a problem with it, but
But-
it, to me, it looks exactly the same.
I believe this part right here is the remainder of the issues.
What is that?
Well, I'm
It's
sure
the-
for
it's
future
the-
reference
No,
too.
it's the remainder of.
Oh,
the-
let's just.
Yes, it's the
All right,
remainder of
all right.
that, because there was a difference, which is why this came to my attention, and somebody was looking at our code, and. So, anyway, this just clarifies this and puts it back to what it should have been to begin with.
Look at that, comes out with it.
83108. Second. All right, well, I was gonna show you, but it appeared, oh, there it goes. Yeah, so here's the remainder of that code, which is kind of hard to see, but you'll see here, right now it says R1 is 2.5 acres.
Alright,
Whereas here it's only 10,000 square feet. Here it has a non-residential of 5 acres, this is only 40,000 square feet. So that's the difference, is right now, it
Yeah.
has all of our subdivisions in the wrong
yeah,
section.
because nobody's got that acreage period.
So this
Yeah.
is just reversed.
Alright,
oh.
So we just need to fix it by reversing it.
well, I can only see the first
Yeah,
ones that
because
look the same.
yeah.
Well, the height can't go over 35 feet or whatever, okay.
Yeah,
whatever.
it's down here that the remainder of it is. But yeah, that's what the purpose of that is.
Ready for the next one?
I need a.
We still gotta vote on this. Are we done with,
Yeah.
are we still done with this? Are we done with discussion? All right, this one is not money. So all in favor, say aye. Any opposed, same sign. That one passes at 6:18.
I'd like to make a motion to approve ordinance number 2512, an ordinance approving zoning text amendments, revising the definition of residential crop cultivation and designating it a permitted use in the R3 residential zoning district.
Here we go.
Second.
Jen makes a motion to approve ordinance number 25-12. Chris seconds. Discussion?
I so much like the garden better.
Okay,
Oh, yes.
so the Illinois legislator, adopted
Yeah.
I don't know why this won't move it. Illinois legislator adopted, legislation that says that you have to allow vegetable gardens in all residential districts. You can still put some requirements on it, but you have to allow it. Yeah, we still have some restrictions on it, but you have to allow it. Right now, it is not a permitted use in our R3 residential, which I believe is townhomes. We don't have any. However, we have to update the code to comply with the state statute that passed, I believe, in 2022. Put it up in my information.
Sure, everybody will feel relieved that they can put in a vegetable garden.
Yeah, so in 2022, this became effective again, another scenario where we knew we needed to change the code, but we were waiting for it to have another public hearing. So we just combined it with the rest of them. So this is just fixing that to ensure that we can have vegetable gardens and everything in all the residential areas. Even though we don't have any.
What now?
You gonna be planting soon?
No. Too many spy satellites looking down. Friends of IT.
Put away that aluminum foil pack.
That's why you don't need coverage, you just got all that aluminum foil in the house, huh?
Yeah.
Still use lead paint, you're all good.
I'm still on Juno.
Anybody have any questions on this?
Net zero dial.
All in favor, say aye. Any opposed, same sign. Passes at 6:20. One more.
I'd like to make a motion to approve ordinance number 2513, an ordinance granting approval of gateway tentative and final plats of subdivision and associated engineering plan, Village of Data Township, East Illinois Route 72 between Junction Road and Illinois Route 51.
Second.
Jen makes a motion to approve ordinance number 25-13. Nathan seconds. Discussion?
This is just. Much that's started.
Just that whole thing. Anything else? Again, no money. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, same sign. Passes at 6:21.
That's all I have.
Brenda,
What I have is for closed session.
all right. Matt,
All right, status report, Junction Way project, the notice to proceed we sent to Martin. Notice to proceed date is on before May 6th, so we'll see what they have for a schedule there when they're starting. Top of the second page, talking to Dale today, it sounds like this might come off as quickly as it went on, but Edson Road improvements, Dale had gotten some cost estimates and stuff for Edson Road doing seal coat and HMA mill and overlay, and it sounds like I think you got a proposal tonight.
Yep, we're gonna roll with that for
Yep,
now, hopefully,
yep.
everybody's in agreement.
So if that goes through, then this one will come off next month.
Not today.
But not tonight.
Well, not tonight.
No, I don't know.
And then Junction Road, aggregate shoulder improvements, that's a new one. They'll just have the estimate in there, almost 58,000 for project cost. Nothing on the village hall, Harvest Land Plat 10, some activity out there. We did go back out and re-inspect 934. Still didn't have the culvert right in there correctly, so they're gonna, third time was hopefully a charm. I think Luke is gonna be out there tomorrow morning to get that shot, so hopefully we got it this time.
I mean, they have it,
The money shot.
hopefully they have it.
Yeah, hopefully they have it this time. The new expediter out there, he said he was gonna. I said, I'm fine with it. He was gonna just send me his shots, cause he said, I don't like seeing you guys go back and forth all the time. And I said, that's fine. So he was gonna shoot it all, and I was just gonna do a quick check. If everything looked good, I'd send him up, and stuff, and I don't know, this one just. Yeah.
Well, I will tell you, he says that too, because he'd like to save a few dollars. You're being kind of long.
I know, but it just like, you would have thought after the first inspection and he knew what grades need to be set.
Get there.
Yeah, we will. The rebuild downtown Main Street, they received the contracts back from both contractors. Talked to Dale on that today. He's still waiting on a couple documents back from them before we can get them fully executed. Once he gets them signed correctly and complete back, he'll get a pre-construction meeting scheduled. We did get from IDOT a temporary access permit into the property and stuff for the construction work. Obviously, we got the final plat approved tonight, so that can all get recorded. And then obviously, we're working on getting some additional right of way from property owner to the west to satisfy IDOT. And then the notice of intent for construction for stormwater discharge, since we're disturbing so much, we have to get a permit from them. So that's been submitted to the EPA. And that's it on that. And then the OSLED grant, just doing the final touches on the construction drawings. We did get our 12-month extension from IDNR for the grant. So the grant's going to be good through April 30th of 26. Shouldn't need it as long as we get through the bidding and award. I think Dale's still thinking all this will get done yet this year. But looking at the bid schedule, if everybody's good tonight with proceeding, he's ready to send the advertisement to the paper for publication on the 28th of April, have a pre-bid meeting on the 8th of May, and then a bid opening on the 22nd, and then contract award on the 22nd. Everything looks good, so.
This is our last portion of it.
Yes, yep.
So we've gotten 1.2 million from Osland.
600,000, and then we're trying to get, the goal is to get as close to 600,000 with the local, because it's a 50-50. What's that?
Did we have to or not?
One was for the property acquisition.
Yeah, we did have to, purchase the property that was done and closed out.
Yes.
So I just wanna know how much we're spending on it.
We're gonna get to that underneath that.
All right.
All of that is actually on your agenda items summary report too.
I have that too.
For that item underneath Nathan, yeah, see it in there.
I'm looking at it right.
Pull it up,
now.
Chris.
See how much we spent total.
Right.
It just says budget amount for FY 26. Oh, wait, sorry, I know, this went down, but it said $1.5 million, but that's not the total that we've spent on.
We always have money in there.
Let's get there, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
We'll get there.
Appreciate that.
Yep. So, last couple items here, the water treatment plant filter rehabilitation. Talked to Brett from our last meeting, and we're kind of in agreement that what we'd like to kind of do this year is get the design work and permitting work done on the rehabilitation, and then actually do at least one or maybe two site visits to a couple of facilities that have done the rehabilitation work that Tonka's proposing, just to kind of talk to the operator, make sure we're feeling comfortable with what they're proposing. What they're proposing makes sense and it looks good, but I'd like to see one that was done and talk to the operator and stuff there. And then get the project ready for bidding by the, end of 25. Get it awarded. There's gonna be obviously some, fabrication of some materials and getting that on site, and then look at doing the rehabilitation work in 26, which would be your next fiscal year budget, not this one, so. If everybody's kind of good with that schedule and kind of plan, then we'll kind of proceed accordingly with that, so. And then the NICOR permit request, Dale got out there to take a look at it. There's still some entrance issues with the entrance pipe and stuff there, so we're not ready to approve that completion of the work that was done by NICOR, so. And that is it.
All right, so before we go to the committees, being that, what's that? Brett?
Oh, I was just gonna say, I don't know how it works between that and the agenda and everything, but you can pull the shoulder stone for now. That was basically to get an idea of where we stand because of, our crew can't shoulder stone
Yep.
everything north. It's not possible.
Yep.
So if you want, you can pull that. And then the Edson Road, that was basically to get an idea where we stand when it comes to reconstruction of that. So we have a rough number to base something off of in the future.
Yep.
So we can pull that too, clean up the, yeah, if that makes it easier for everybody, but you don't have to, it's up to you guys.
Well, unless you wanted to sit there for the next 12 months, that's your
Yeah.
call.
Yeah, it was just to
Fiscal
clean
year
it, yeah,
26.
if that helps to clean it up a little bit.
No, that's fine. Whatever, if you guys want me to pull it for now, I can pull it for now.
If it makes it cleaner for you.
Yeah,
it's
that's the
fine.
only reason I asked.
I never delete these, so I can, if it ever comes back, I can go back to my old things and pull it back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just thought I'd ask.
Yep.
All right.
Thank you, Greg.
So again, in 3 weeks, we'll all be still here. We'll be joined by a new member. So if you have any ideas of what you would like to do for committees, if you'd like to move, like to do something different, ideas for new committees, or no committees, one of the things bouncing around too. Let me know what you guys would like to do and we'll see if we can accommodate it.
What are typical villages, towns, cities going to,
I don't know if there is a typical,
or normal,
um.
average?
So we have the option to stay with everybody being a committee chair. We have the option to going to trustees at large. Where a lot of the work is done by the employees as it is now. And you guys would just you guys could assign yourselves to projects as they come, which we think would actually be harder on the engineers and harder on the employees. Because then they're gonna have to, if you're doing a wastewater project and he's doing a wastewater project, it's gonna be a lot harder. But open to ideas, very much open to ideas on what, if, talking to John this morning, he had an idea for a possibility for a committee, so.
Cause I mean, do we really need like our ordinance enforcement anymore since we have?
Oh, I was wanting ordinance. Oh, wait.
Well, John thought he wanted it too, so. We might for the first time ever have a fight for ordinance enforcement. But I mean, truly, if you guys have an idea for a committee you think will help, it's something we're kind of overlooking as a village, by all means, bring it up.
Did you wanna be ordinance enforcement?
No, to Jen's point, I don't know that we need it.
That's what I'm
Well-
saying,
Well, it's been a placeholder.
right, I know, but I'm just saying, since we have,
We have a company that,
since we have that company that does a lot of the stuff for us.
We do have some oversight of that company,
Right.
where like Nathan's done a lot of the stuff with them with the building codes and.
But I think that being that that's once every 4 or 10 years.
Agreed.
You could appoint someone to do what I did, like once, because really at this time, it should be a lot smoother, hopefully, of the process than trying to update it the way we did do it. So the next time would just be adopting the new code book and then, maybe fine tuning some of the things that are in there, or keeping standard with our processes that we have in place now, but like, I don't know that we would need someone in that position just for that. And their point of contact is not Bill right now anyways. I'm still in the loop of what the things that had been going on, and then I think Sandy's the one that takes care of her, some of the office staff takes care of the rest of the contact with them, so.
Well, to Jen's point, we don't really.
I mean, is it too
Right.
much for, if it's too much for Sandy's plate, then obviously we should redirect them to, you know, being a committee thing. Where they would contact that trustee, but if it's,
That,
Well, so
I know that's not helping you,
Part-
who's taking care of those things on a speedy.
part of this discussion is like this weekend, we had an issue in the park. They didn't call the parks trustee. They didn't email the parks trustee as far as I know. They emailed me.
maybe,
But they also called the police, which is what they should do in that situation, I believe, correct?
no,
No,
no.
nothing, no, not the
Not
knife
that.
thing.
Oh, sorry.
Situation.
I'm sorry, I was talking about the one that I know about.
No, you know, so I mean, no, that one, absolutely. They should have
Yeah,
called
that-
the police and get that, let them handle it. But, you know, as far as, again, but. And to your point. When the project came up, we assigned it and you took it and ran with it. And that's a possibility to just do that with every project, but it would mean, you know, again, John may be doing a streets project and Jen may be doing a streets project if she wanted to do that one. It'd be a chance to learn more things. But again, I think it's gonna put a lot more strain
Yeah.
on the engineers.
Well, and you
And,
can work tandem, so that way if someone's, you know, we're allowed 2 trustees to be on a project or in a room together.
Right.
With these things, so if someone
It is.
wants to be involved with another department or another committee, then I don't see the problem of. Jumping on board with them and spearheading together, I mean, it's 2 points of contact, it's a faster response time, you know, like for a lot of things, so. I mean, I don't hate that idea, or, you know, at
So
least.
if we're gonna stay with committees, I need an idea for a committee.
DJ Joe.
Otherwise, we're gonna have an at-large again,
Can I share mine?
by all means.
So I actually recommend disbanding the committees except for finance, because finance holds the pro tem role. So, but disbanding.
In our
In the
ordinances.
ordinances. And so I recommended disbanding of them as a lot of the daily operations is now run by the supervisors. When we originally set up these committees, the trustees were doing the labor, the trustees were calling and obtaining the quotes, the trustees were the ones clean, like Jason Grimes clean bathrooms, walk street projects, like we're not of that anymore. We now have staff that does that. We are now growing to the point that our supervisors manage the day-to-day operations.
Yeah, we had Brent and Dan.
Yeah, it was, that's why I said, and we've changed over the years, and now you have 4 supervisors. When you took over, you didn't have 4 supervisors, and so we've expanded and grown, and it's just leading to this issue with somebody saying things like, I don't feel like I'm informed, but do you need to be informed? Or people being pigeonholed on the projects, and actually bring up the building codes, that's a perfect example of, you're actually a parks trustee, but you're knowledgeable in the building code, so that made sense for you to take it. So instead of you being designated parks trustee, you're just trustee on this project. This is your project, and so we all know building codes, if that project is yours, but at least the day-to-day operations with us and with Rick as we're set up today.
And we started thinking about this, started bouncing these ideas around
Yeah.
yesterday. So
Yeah,
you guys
these
are,
are all fresh
you guys are as soon into this as we can get you.
Over the last week, I had the opportunity to attend 2 other municipal meetings both in larger municipalities, and it was interesting to watch their board meeting because the trustees didn't do anything except for projects or an event, or like, that's what they were sharing at the board level. And so like, there was a planning and zoning issue and their staff took the issue, and there was a question on the budget, the staff took the issue. And so the trustees focused on being trustees and the staff did all the work, and.
The staff does the day to
What do we
day.
do now?
Except for that, there
And so now-
are some things that need, you know, if I'm a staff member, I probably want somebody else,
This is our boss,
okay?
like by ordinance, this is our boss.
And so I mean, basically what we're saying, what she was saying yesterday is that the trustees would be working on the projects and on the bigger items with the staff.
Yes,
And on this, on more of the day-to-day operations, the staff would just take care of it.
I don't remember really, you know, when I was the streets person, getting that many day-to-day things, just.
No, I know Brett takes care of it.
example, there's actually something underneath Nathan that he has no idea what it is because I stuck it underneath him because it's technically his thing. but I did all the work on it, and so I'll end up having to talk about it, or if there's a streets or public works crew, usually ends up talking about it, so why are we diverting that instead of just letting public
you-
works talk
But
about it?
you also have in the past to put things under you that
I
you were gonna
did.
talk about that you know knowledge about,
I
so.
did.
I don't have a problem either way, I'm asked, this is a question, not a,
But it's
not a
always too much
concern.
for you
Yeah.
to do, that's why I was like, it puts us.
I don't
in
have
a weird-
possession to it unless I.
So
I have possession to it.
it's a strange ask for you guys to think about this, because. Again, I'm just finishing up 20 years on this. And we used to literally go out and plow the streets. You know, and so to give up, Brenda's not, she knows, she was here 2 years before me, so it's weird to give up that part of the, what you feel is giving up that part of the job, but consider it. I mean, over the next 3 weeks, think about whether you want to stay on committee levels, whether you want to stay on, we would like to try something different, not necessarily even anything we put out tonight. And if you want to stay on committee levels, ideas for, we need a new committee.
If we were to give up committees, and nobody feels like they wanna be on a project. What happens then?
You can still do
Well,
that.
Because
Is it
I'm
gonna-
not saying that a lot of us step up to the plate, when we're asked to, we
Yep.
step up to the plate. There are people that have not stepped up to the plate in the past, and I'm just.
There will be
I'm
volunteer and
just curious
voluntold.
how that works, is it gonna fall onto the one person or
No,
three?
there'll be
board members that
volunteer
are
and
doing-
voluntold. If we have to go, like we vote, it goes in a certain order. It may go in that certain order for projects as well.
Yeah, but I think it'd be better with committee then.
So it's just a
Nobody
thought
wants
was
to do
thrown out
that.
yesterday.
Sorry, I missed the election results. Anybody can fill me in?
William, or Bill did not run,
I knew that,
um,
but I didn't see the results.
Williams in.
William will be the writing. It was
Is there-
one
He
thing.
did make it as a write-in.
Alright, so it'd be William and the other people who got elected, yeah,
William,
right, no,
Jen.
I got that part, I just didn't know if William.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're.
as I said, we're gonna be the same board. We'll just have one new person, which is actually an old person.
Yeah,
So
Yeah,
he's
we don't
not,
have any more board members.
he's not new.
and they can find finance trustee too, by the way.
I'm aware.
Hey,
Is that what you wanted ordinances?
Well, you can have streets back, Fergie missing.
I did hear you did an exceptional job in the streets, by the way.
Yeah, I just
But
mediocre.
you nodding.
huh?
I said that, I said, can you
Oh,
follow that?
So
How did the meeting be run then, I'm sorry.
The same as it is now.
Same as
But
now.
who, then it'll just be a whole bunch of agenda items and then someone will just choose to.
The date, so similar to the old business,
Right.
Unfinished business.
the unfinished
Or like
business,
things
it would have your name next to it that you're working on it. And, or if there's somebody working on it with you, if there's two people working on it, it would have their name next to it. The stuff that's day-to-day stuff that the staff has worked on, they'll take care of. They'll talk about it.
My original, like, again, this is a fresh idea, so the agenda would say, it would have the reports of officers, which is us three, reports of village engineer, and then report of public works department and report of parks department, which would be the two department heads that aren't on the agenda.
Yeah.
And then, it would be reports of the board. And then all of these would be listed, and then Rick, like he normally does, would ask at the end if there's anything else that the board needs to discuss. Or if somebody needs something on the agenda, I would put it underneath the report of the board, and that's the person's name next to it.
Again, this is very
Just
fresh.
so that we follow along correctly and we can pay attention to when it's our turn, I mean,
Right.
not all of us
Well,
are present.
We'll kick you.
Most of you know what project.
We'll tell Brody to kick you when it's your turn.
But, I mean, who knows?
Again, it's just a thought. And again, I don't wanna just say this is the way it's going to be. I'd rather discuss it and figure out how we wanna do it as a group.
And it might be a trial and error, it might be.
We might start with it and hate it.
Yeah, maybe whatever we come up with, whatever that may be, it might be trial and error. The joys about it is we can always change.
And in 3 weeks, we may just sign up to do exactly what we've been doing.
It's the only thing for me, like,
Well,
it gives us ownership in something that we feel connected to.
Yep.
Taking that away, I don't know that it makes, I mean, we all have a job up here to do and we all wanna take things, but at some point. Our plate is gonna be full, we're not gonna be able to take it
Yeah.
anymore, I mean.
But-
Some of these projects get crazy,
Well,
so.
maybe we keep the committees to change
For
how
things
they're,
that happen.
but maybe we keep the committees and change how they're used, so that they're only used for the projects, and again. scale back to report to Public Works, report to Parks, so that they're getting their stuff and only the projects are still on the committees.
I do like your idea of a second person on it though.
I
Like a
do.
chair- Like a chair and a co-chair.
Like I chose,
Because-
because then,
So-
there's vacations or times, there's not a misstep in those things
So
too.
my problem with the getting rid of committees, and again, I brought it up because it's an idea. My problem with getting rid of it, like I said, it will be harder on the staff, it'll be harder on the engineer, because who do I call for this? Who's taking care of this next step? You know, and then he's gonna teach everybody water, sewer and public works instead of just
Again.
one every 4 years.
Again.
Or one every 2 years.
I don't disagree on the hardship of that. I like the idea of 2 people. My fear of that is then, is it my responsibility to inform both of you? Or
We've had that
one
discussion too.
Has made a decision, is the other gonna notify them, or does that fall back to me? And so now I have the responsibility of reporting to 2 people instead of reporting to 1.
And again, that's the way we used to do stuff. So we had the Public Works Committee
Yeah.
where parks, water and sewer, streets all got together and met together. So you had the chair and the co-chairs that were all met together on one meeting. They were a different night altogether than the board. And they would just, and it was an open public meeting.
But that's back to when you were also getting quotes.
It was.
You were actually you're not doing it, like, the trustees aren't
So-
doing that level of work anymore.
It's just something to think about for the next couple of weeks.
Dave.
I do too.
I think,
But I guess I look at it this way, okay, so I've done events for the last however many years. I'm already working on, okay, I've been working on the sesquicentennial, you know, and I'm just saying, I mean, unless somebody wants to start working on the Christmas party.
I already, my recommendation was
I mean-
that your projects are already preset.
I mean,
That was when I recommended this.
Shit, well,
Greg, I
okay,
would say,
let-
my
let-
projects already are.
But she preceded that with Jen's killing this.
Yes, and so
I
I should
think-
say that all of those projects were automatically yours.
that's what I'm saying, unless somebody, like, when I ask for people to help.
You need the title to do those projects.
Well, I'm saying unless somebody else wants to step in.
Nobody does, nobody does.
Well, I
Again-
don't think so. I don't think so.
So nobody's taking projects from people, like, if
No,
we-
I'm
if
just
you chose-
saying,
If you guys chose to do this, part of my recommendation is like, clearly Nathan is well embedded in the parks project, he's not
Well,
letting
there's
that,
we're multiple phases.
Then why would
I
we
got
change
one and shit
Yeah.
now, you know, like
but that's.
getting someone else caught.
Again.
You need the title to do the work.
well,
Just thoughts, we're not gonna meet again for 3 weeks, but at that 3-week period, we're gonna set something in place.
I think the
At
committee as
this,
a whole.
at this point, I'm still staying with the committees at this point.
I guess, cause I look at it this way too, is when. Like, I've had people email me, get in touch with me that are talking about stuff, and I have no idea what the hell they're talking about. And I just contact Sandy and be like, who's this person?
We talked about that yesterday
We
too.
talked about that and said that if we.
Right.
You're-
Right, and that's what I'm saying, so people, the public knows who they're supposed to reach
Well,
out to.
we would-
And if we lose our title, like our chair, they're
Well,
like,
we-
okay.
It's even
we-
more confused.
We would actually
Even
take the
more.
word development out of your committee, so people that won't.
You know, an issue with the parks, you know, and okay, let's say they tried to get a hold of Brody, Brody's not around, who are they to, you know, I'm just saying.
Same person they contact now.
I know, but I'm just saying, it's, I don't know, I guess I look at it
Sorry,
as.
what's your number, so I can just tell people to call?
It's on the website.
I think
Well-
it's 2.5 years. I've been
Yep.
in the park.
Yeah, and I don't care, they can call me anytime.
Oh,
Yeah.
And then when
Once I go to bed, my phone's on mute.
One water
Yeah,
call
nobody's
ever,
going to
so,
be based upon
yeah,
what their
right.
committee is.
well, and why are you gonna talk to me when you're gonna feel like you're gonna get more?
And truly, if I ever had as many phone calls as people threatened to make to me, it'd be unreal.
I,
oh,
Yeah.
you might start getting again this year, because we got a lot of.
Hmm. Anyway.
So again, just something to think about. At
Okay.
this point, I'm very much leaning towards the committees, but if there's any ideas you guys have at all, I'm open to hearing them.
okay, well, here's my idea.
Uh-oh.
I like the committee of the whole. It's worked well. I can kind of feel with what Jen is saying. What you're referring to is all these little Nate doing, that's an ad hoc. He did an ad hoc committee, and that's essentially what that's been. And that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. I mean, if
No, that was right after, right when I got the parts.
Okay, it's-
But, okay, so on the point of staying in committees, if you wanna be on a different committee than where you are now. let me know.
Here's a committee suggestion I think we could use. Being we got a strip mall coming, you got tenants, you got people moving in, we need to maybe get back to, and I think this would play to Sandy's point where you would want two people. Planning and development needs to come back, or not economic growth and development, but a planning and development committee for what we hope will bring more growth, what we hope we're doing with the solar that will attract that farmland to become into split up plots to
I
attract more
definitely
business.
agree with that.
Planning, and I think there's where that idea of two people, because that's a lot to cover. Planning
Well-
and development, there's where you could really use, one is actually the person that's the chair with the name or whatever, and then who else wants to be on? Nate wants to do it, or
It's a lot
whoever.
of legwork on the.
Well, it is, but what I mean is, I think it's something, you have to need something in that respect, as far as, who do I talk to? I like to get in that extra slot at the strip mall. Well, then, she don't want 30, 40 calls a day. I don't think it's gonna take off like that, but I think you see my point. Planning and development could come back.
So somebody calls me and says, hey, I'm interested in renting out the strip mall that you guys are building, and they say, okay. And I give it to planning and development, who are two full-time trustees.
Who may
have
not answer the phone.
responsibilities outside of this village, who now need to sit down and negotiate a lease by themselves during their off time. Why would that go to you? So why wouldn't I work with a trustee, but?
Well, then
I'm
you're
still
the
an
second
appointed-
person. I mean, it doesn't matter who the second person is.
Then it's staff, we're back to staff doing it, and so that's where we've changed, John, is we used to do that stuff, you don't anymore. And that's okay, we've grown, in the last 20 years, we've gained more than 2,000 residents.
But at the same time, our staff isn't gonna be doing any, like, running around and hobnobbing, having dinners at night
That's
to
your
attract
job
it.
anyway, regardless of whether or not you have a committee or a title.
But I just think planning and development is something to consider as far as.
All right, let's consider this one and talk about it.
Exactly.
Well, here's the problem I have, is that we have on May 13th, which is your next meeting. If we're gonna change committee names, we have to change our ordinances, and so I have to change our ordinance before we do the swearing in and appointment.
But in the grand scheme of things, you could just,
This.
okay, but if you left the committee names the same and later on wanted to change it, then you could just change it then.
Sure.
Yeah, so I mean, you could just go with what you got if you don't come up with nothing. Right? I mean,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
If you have any ideas for a new committee over the next 2.5 weeks before we have to hit our deadline to have the agenda in, please call me.
wherever you need me, Rick.
All right.
I'm on vacation and I'm turning my phone off and not answering it, so the agenda deadline is May 1st, I believe I gave that to you guys in an email last week.
Wherever you need me,
Sounds
Rick.
good.
All right, so before May 1st, if you have an idea for a committee, otherwise we'll stick with what we have. And moving on,
Thank you.
Jen, community events.
She missed it.
Okay,
Oh, she probably got it.
well,
See?
No.
She missed it.
drop it all now.
Yeah, see, she did.
We had a meeting prior to, for the sesquicentennial, prior to this meeting. And, so we're kind of scrambling a little bit. So to let you guys know, cause I haven't really said anything, we had, I had dealt with Berg Industries, I had all the tents set up. They come out, worked with Brody. We had the stage, basically tables and chairs, everything set to go through them. And Sandy and I were pushing for a contract, they weren't responding to us, and Fergie had went in and had drove by there and said, it's dead. So Sandy and I did some digging, their website was suspended, everything, they aren't answering, says temporarily closed. So Nate mostly been scrambling cause we couldn't sit and wait on them, so obviously. They're having some issues and did not let us know, so we've been scrambling to find. New tents. And we have a stage from the sound people that Nate had rounded up, so. It's been quite the adventure.
Did you get a quote from Berg?
Yeah, oh, we have.
Oh, we were
We-
just
we
waiting
have-
to
we were
sign on
waiting-
the dotted
we were
line
just
and
waiting
pay
for
them.
contract. I don't even
I
remember.
wanna say,
We were waiting to get a contract and it was like communications were stalled.
Got
It's been like since
Yeah,
end of February.
I've had people.
it says temporarily closed on,
No, like I went there, they came out, they talked
No, I
about
get
it,
that.
yeah,
But I'm just saying, at some point,
Yeah.
I've had people.
He is preoccupied enforcing that walls.
yeah.
I just wondered how much it was. I'm looking for comparison, by the way. Clearly, coming from Sycamore is much farther than coming from.
Well, yeah, and I, like I said, and they were really good about, I mean, I had a list of
Oh, I've used it myself.
everything, and it was just like, okay, now what are we gonna do? So,
Sorry, I'm just looking for.
no, so it's kind of been some busting of figuring out where we were at, and also a big issue of people who don't get back to you. Don't answer emails, they don't answer phone calls.
Clearly, you're not used to contractors.
yeah. Every project goes this way, doesn't it, a little bit, so.
No, there are just contractors who are too busy and will never get back to you. They're-
Well,
they're
it's not
work-
even that, it's food truck vendors, like not even saying, no, I have. Nope, I can't do it, I'm not available, nothing, crickets,
Ghosting, yeah.
yes, nothing.
We are making headway though, I
Yes.
think, and we have fund replacements, and I
Yep.
wanna say that every replacement we found has been very comparable to the original pricing,
Yeah, if not cheaper,
so,
so,
yeah, if not more cost effective, so.
Sorry, I just wanted.
No, you're
I think
fine.
we're doing good with the resources we have and the replacements that we've been used so far, we just need to get a few more vendors out here.
Yeah.
Um,
So it's not an apples to apples.
I don't, it makes no difference. I just wanted a second quote and that worked.
Alright.
so that's kind of what we've been standing with that, as of the follow-up to the Easter egg hunt. The best weather, I think, we've ever had since I've been doing it, volunteering for it, doing it. It was actually nice, Brenda and I said that when we were out there, Brody, but we were just like. It was nice. I think we had about 200, just over 200 kids. There was a lot of people in the park.
Okay.
And what was great is after the kids did their, just opened up their eggs and put them in the thing and we were cleaning up. I had ordered some kites from Amazon. Didn't know how they're gonna work out. There was like a 12 pack of whatever. They went out onto the soccer fields, opened them up and they were flying them. And they were staying together. They didn't fall apart, but they were having a blast and they were really cool. They're like dragons and butterflies or something, but they were really cool. So that was kind of really nice to see. That, and actually, I think when we left here after doing everything, some of them were still out there, so. It's kind of where we're at. On that. And moving past the sesquicentennial and looking at our July 3rd thing. I know it had been, we had kind of tossed around since it is obviously our Thursday night again and Friday is the 4th. Just to put out there, do we want it, cause I have not booked a movie, I don't have the guide for the movies, cause we didn't know what we were gonna do. So. Is the firework out there just all we wanna do? Or? Oh, well, that's what I'm saying, I mean, I've reached out to my, booking a movie is not gonna be the thing, it's gonna be getting. The guy here with his blow up screen, and I've contacted him and I've got nothing back,
Go to the fireworks.
so. I don't want. People coming for fireworks and expecting a movie like they always do, if we wanted to figure out something else to throw in there, or what?
Thanks, sir.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
no,
No.
So, I'm just, bringing that up to, if anybody has any suggestions or. Any ideas of something else we may wanna do? Obviously, I know we talked about putting, food trucks out in the park. Or doing something. Brody and I have not had a chance to
I
discuss.
already got their special event permit.
Okay. But I just know Brody and I had talked about it, we just haven't had a lot of time to.
If we're just
Figure
doing
out-
fireworks, it's not really enough time for food trucks and other things to be, to make a benefit of coming out, because people are gonna come out and watch
Well,
fireworks.
they're gonna come out anyway, so it doesn't
Well,
matter.
if you got events before that.
Right, that's what I'm saying, we gotta
Wow,
figure
yeah.
Right,
out.
the food trucks will be here before that.
People go us to buy our own.
750.
Where are you gonna store it?
Nobody wants to store it.
I know, I get that.
That was the same question for the.
Plus the licensing.
Put it in your house, couldn't you?
Yeah, we got no. Nope.
That was always the question, Nate, where will we store it?
Mundane.
Right.
Yeah, I get that. I mean,
Curate and we eat.
Oh, I mean, it would.
The mice would
a
get
plastic thing
it.
in the shed somewhere, wherever we would put it is definitely gonna deteriorate and have a problem, but, I mean, if it's, I don't know.
I mean, I can still see,
Same
like I
cost
said,
to buy one as good as the red one, I mean, I don't see we can just trash it if it doesn't.
Like-
pull
like
up
I
or-
also-
He also does bring the sound system.
yeah.
Okay.
And that's
Like I said,
another
I can
4 or
keep
5
pushing
grand.
and seeing if I can get him to respond to me. Cause usually if I call him 3 times a day and text him and email him, usually he eventually gives into some kind of a form of a communication. But, I mean, that's kind of where
Up to you.
I'm at. So,
I
I don't know where you're awfully quiet over there. I just say, I know it's hard because it's that holiday, you feel like you never get to do anything, cause you already know where you're gonna be. So, that's kind of where I'm at with it, so if anybody has any suggestions or ideas, let me
I mean,
know.
if we could get the movie, you said they have the movie already taken care of?
No, that's not gonna be hard to
Okay.
do, cause that's through a totally different company,
Okay,
it's just the point
just
of.
getting someone with sound
It's just getting, yeah, this thing. Great, and I know last year when I went months without hearing from him, and when I finally did hear from him. He apologized and he was like, you know, you guys have been a customer for years, so I'm like, yeah. You better do it, you know, and I know that's his side.
That hasn't helped the whole.
Well, and I know he also has a full-time job, that's just his side gig,
I guess.
so.
What is kids?
I mean, is there a way to, before he leaves the event, that we have it booked and signed already a contract? for the
Yeah,
following
probably
year?
not, probably not.
I mean, it's not like we do it on the same day every year, so it's
Right,
not like.
right, exactly.
Well, I think it would be great to have that as an opportunity for our residents.
Me too.
Um,
Yeah, like I
And-
said, I'll keep reaching out and seeing if
So
I
if we
can.
can get it, I recommend that we do, if he doesn't return our phone calls or we don't find someone else to replace them, then. I definitely think that we
Mhm.
scrapping the option is the next choice, so.
Yeah, I'll just keep reaching out and see if I can get him to respond to me. So, that's all I have, Rick.
Okay. Chris? Bill's not here. Anybody have anything on ordinances?
I have to go there now.
All right, at least not yet. Parks?
Alright, make a motion to approve resolution number 25-20, and resolution approving authorizing execution of quote for tents, chairs, tables, rentals. And Midwest tents and events for 2025 sesquicentennial event in the amount of $6,549.41.
Second.
Nathan makes a motion to approve resolution number 25-20 in the amount of $6,549.41. John seconds. Discussion on tents, chairs, tables.
This does include.
All kind of crap.
Yeah, it has on the quote itself, there's taxes on there. The taxes will be removed. He has not responded back with an updated quote. For this, we will also be adding on another couple tables, to this, two in a separate order, but it'll be separate. But the taxes will come off as we are taxing them, so. I just want that to be clear.
No screen.
Yeah, and I believe the total that you read off is the tax.
The 6,500.
6.5, yeah.
Yeah.
So I just, if anyone looked at the quote though, I wanted to
I
clarify
like
that,
it.
so.
And I'm using Berg as your second quote, even though they can't service us for whatever reason.
Well, other
Yes.
things, they haven't told us that, and I wasn't gonna sit and wait on it.
No, I don't.
And I wanna say that they're pretty common, so like,
Yeah, no,
Oh,
I
yeah.
can maybe.
the only difference between the two, they're gonna use a cinder block to hold down the tent, this tent, the last
Instead
one's
of
using a barrel.
Barrel, yep.
And saving us a lot of money too.
Sounds good.
So,
All right. Any further discussion?
No, go ahead.
Thank you. That's money roll call.
Yes.
Yes,
Patrick Sasek, Chris.
yeah.
Jen.
Yes.
Bill.
Pass at 7:03.
All right, moving on to the next one, motion to approve to let for bid Davis Junction Park Improvements Oslo Grant Project.
Second.
Nathan makes a motion to approve the let for bid for Davis Junction Park Park Improvements Oslo Grant Project. John seconds. Discussion?
I do, could we get, what,
I didn't know, Brandon.
thanks, can you just email it to me, I'm gonna vote on it, so I wanted to go to bid, one way or another, but I'd like to see what's in it.
Yeah, so I will tell you, and this has been an engineering nightmare. Not
Will it Hoffman?
Not at any fault of Willet Hoffman's. We handed them a flaming pile and they've done fantastic with it.
Yeah, fairgrounds.
Including the fact that the Oslo grant application that was filed included a lot of things that were not approved by this board that we are now being required to do in order to still have the grant. If there was not a potential for a blacklist, we probably would have not done this. So, I will give Lily Hoffman kudos for figuring out a way to make this Oslo grant work for us.
Because fairground didn't tell us what we were supposed to, had to do.
Because of previous employees who all the spaghetti at the wall and didn't remove anything
All
before
right.
filing the application.
Understood, thank you.
Yeah, so,
Better than learn something.
when you
Oh, yeah.
see that number, I want you to be aware that there is a lot. There's, well, not that part, that's the smaller part, but the engineering part has been,
Okay,
it has, yeah, but they've done fantastic with what we gave them.
it's on the cost now, it doesn't really matter.
Yes, and again, fantastic for what we gave them to work with, it
Well,
was not great.
The one thing that we may need to do is after we open the bids, I'm not saying that. There's probably a window of discussion with Oslo. They know that we're, obviously. Project's gonna come in over what was in the grant application. There might be some wiggle room to cut certain items out at that point, cause I think. They're kind of sensitive to the cost as well, but I think they'll be looking at items that. Wouldn't necessarily impact the scoring on their end, because obviously when a community submits an application, they take a look at what amenities are gonna go into the park improvements and they get scored accordingly. So if they start pulling things out, they're gonna wanna pull out things that, hopefully wouldn't have impacted your scoring to where they would have given the grant to somebody else, and
It's
stuff,
not
so.
afraid that things are gonna fall, or going to be like the AD compliant path that we're proposing in here, that's my fear, is that they're gonna try and pull those things that I don't necessarily
Well,
want them
I,
to.
yeah, and I think what we would do is we would probably go to them and propose the things that. We
Offer?
would wanna remove, and then it becomes a negotiation.
So
We
they
get it
came
down.
back with the estimated cost at 1.5 million, that does include a fourth ball diamond, all of the path repairs and the extension of the path here. A shelter with a concession stand extension in
Yeah, I
here
saw
too.
that too.
A shelter with a restroom, a splash pad, new fitness equipment, just one little fitness pad area there. I believe that's the majority of it.
And then pathway, right?
Well,
Oh,
yeah, it all passed.
the pier,
Can you email it?
Oh, and
did you
then-
say the pier?
Can you email it?
I would love to. It is in your board packet on page 82.
Really? I didn't see that,
Page 82.
hold on, I don't know where I'm at.
This is the package.
Well, I know, I'm looking at it right now. I went through it today. I don't
Yeah,
recall
that
that.
meeting what she said.
Yeah,
And we had originally taken out quite a few of these items.
We did, and then we were required to put them.
Yeah,
back
no, we
in.
were required to put it back in,
So
so,
everything you see here has been required by
all
Ogden.
right, can you pull that up so I can actually see it?
Yes,
and the things that we put back in, we've done what we can to keep the cost
I
down
just
too,
can't tell
so.
what it is.
well, I can't help you with that.
I know, just because it's too small and it's.
So, but I think I put in the agenda item summary report that the grant is for 600,000 with a matching 600,000 for us, so that's 1.2 million, and the estimated cost is one.
Gonna need 224 inch monitors, if I can spread this out actually.
Well, if you really want a large one, Matt could bring you one.
40.
Yeah.
Yeah, for you a 48 incher, if you'd like to. He said.
If you want a 2x3 of that, we can
No,
have it dropped off here, that's easy
No, I'll
enough.
blow it up and look at it second. I looked at it, I didn't realize that gave me that much information because it's kind of,
Confusing.
no, it's just a lot.
It's a lot, and I pared down, I asked Aaron to please only give me the pages that are overviews as opposed to.
I don't know if I can download it. That's what I'll have to figure out if I can download it.
much chat.
That little pattern.
So I don't know that.
You can hit the.
No, I know how to download it. Thank you.
Okay, so you have it under control?
No, I don't know. I'll.
Okay.
Anything further on the grant? That's not money.
Then it is, well, I guess it's not money.
No, we're not spending money on this one. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Passes at 7:09.
I think we're just not spending.
Right.
All right, the next one I have, make sure I'm staying on task here, does it place two terms? Motion to approve resolution number 25-22, a resolution approving and ratifying entry into amendment to Illinois Department of Natural Resources upon open space, land acquisition and development grant to extend term of 1 year. Okay.
Nathan makes a motion to approve resolution number 25-22. Chris seconds. Why?
This is the one I don't.
This is the one she threw me for.
Oh.
The information in your board packet states. that
Your turn.
Department of Natural Resources requested.
Here's the summary. So, the Natural Resources, did they agree to the extension?
Yes,
Or
they
they
did.
told us that we
Yes.
had to sign this amendment?
Yes.
I won't believe it till I get the signed one back in my possession.
Yes.
But we had to have Rick sign it right away, which is why you're ratifying his actions, but this is the 1 year extension on the Osland Park grant that we've been waiting for.
Yeah, Matt said that in the update, right?
Yes,
Yep.
yeah, this is the rest of that.
No,
But you are ratifying Rick's action, so he's Rick's already signed it, it's already been resubmitted.
okay, so this is allowing it to go out for 1 year from now?
April
So,
26th.
the grant ending date is now April 30th of 2026. So we've got till April 30th, 2026 to get all the work completed.
Completed.
Yes,
I believe completed is a majority completion percentage, isn't it?
But then he also said that he thinks they
What is
can get
that?
done
What is
that
that?
this year.
I just asked, cause as of right now, we're looking at not getting this started, I mean, if we're lucky, the end of summer. As my guess, or like someone's just sitting around waiting to do work, which gosh, that would be, like, I
I'm
don't,
not gonna know that too.
yeah, so.
Yeah.
But so, yeah, okay, so we just need to make sure it's done by April, so.
Yeah.
hopefully,
bid it.
Great weather for all this to get done.
Without this
Did you say-
extension,
who'd you
our
say said it
deadline
could be done?
was 8 days.
Dale.
What's the percentage of completion that needs to be done?
Is it in the, I didn't.
I didn't see it, but.
I didn't want.
I've been curious.
And Matt did say he thinks Dale said he thinks he can still get it done this year.
I think it's possible too. I mean, the amount of work that needs to be done, stuff like its potential to be great. But again, it all depends. I mean, we're going to bid kind of late in the year. It depends on people's availability.
It's gonna be
So,
expensive too.
All right, that sounds good.
Now it's another $1 million.
a lot secret we approved of this all.
Go ahead. Now you can come back.
Any further discussion? All right, all in favor, say aye. Any opposed, same sign. Passes at 7:12. Anything further?
What's the last thing on my agenda?
Sandy, sorry to interrupt.
Oh,
Did
yeah.
we need to discuss that or no? If we don't, then we won't.
No, we should. It's
Oh,
just a
okay.
2-second discussion.
Yep.
He did not have time to talk to Nathan independently before the meeting, so we're just gonna have a quick discussion real quick.
Let me chill. Excuse me, Jim. You may know about this already. Talk with Aaron. So anyway, I talked with, Aaron today and, basically the, splash pad is up there by the park bench and all that good stuff up there, the garbage can. That- Oh. That's more better.
There we go. More better.
More better.
Anyway,
That's
so-
our Scrabble point.
So here's your splash pad or proposed splash pad. So what originally was the design is, obviously all that water has to go somewhere, so it was gonna go to the sanitary back off to the west where the water ties in as well. Talking with Aaron, I guess he had maybe seen this on another design at some point in time. But we had some concerns, obviously, with the sanitary is extra water going to the sewer plant. What happens when we get torrential rains? You know, it's a big giant concrete pad with a drain in the middle. That's all going sanitary. So when we talked earlier, there is a possibility that instead of doing that, we literally could tie into, instead of running the sanitary, you basically just run storm sewer out to here. This is kind of a detention area, kind of a wetland that Brody has to deal with. So basically it would come across the path, come down, tying in here to the storm. They would basically do a type of concrete channel to keep the water from the splash pad. We don't want it going into the grass, to contain it onto the concrete. So that way we don't create more of a mess in that area that already kind of gets pretty bad when it rains. So there would be no worries about going to the sanitary, no type of P-trap for, gases coming back up if that would happen. And we don't care how much it rains, it doesn't matter. It's literally going right out the storm and out of here.
And probably
So-
relatively easy to clean if it plugged.
Yep, so,
Shoot straight up it.
yep, so we obviously still have to tie the water in and go back that way, otherwise kind of defeats the purpose. But, we could bypass the sanitary and
I like
basically
it.
daylight the water out of here.
Love it.
So wanted to see what y'all thought.
Is that a drain right there?
That's your storm. Yep, that's your flared in section. Had no, yep.
Which I think.
Okay.
I didn't know if you had. I didn't know if you know.
No,
Okay.
So
Bring up the other diagram.
Let's get it covered.
Understanding to that drain.
It'll go under the path.
It'll go into the path.
But then it'll daylight over
It's,
here.
is that right there by the tree?
It goes under the path though. We're not running this water over a cement.
No, it's in
pad.
pipe underneath the path.
And then daylight like here, and then I believe that's.
Brett, is that culvert right there by the tree?
It's right,
Then it just.
Yeah.
Right there?
Yep.
Okay.
So we daylight
Alright,
here and
sounds
then
good.
cement trail to here.
I'm very fine with that, so.
Yeah, I
And
like
then it'll
that.
also help that area that already gets
Yep.
swampy and messed already, so
Yeah.
this helps with that. It works two ways, so. I
Yeah.
like it.
Also help with the water sanitary system.
Yeah, that's great.
which is already a big concern of mine with
Right.
I issues that we already have, so.
That we were gonna add into that sewer, our sanitary system.
And it's not, the splash pad isn't gonna be like crazy. I mean, it's not gonna be, but I worry more about rains and things like that. I mean, that could be, you could get a 4-inch rain, that's a lot of water.
Yeah.
So, but
All right.
everybody likes that, like,
Yep.
either Brody or myself or whatever can talk to Aaron about. Okay.
Do we need to get this on anything else, or is this just an engineering thing that needs to get
We just need to.
updated?
Yep, just want to know if everybody liked it.
I love it.
I love it.
Since you're both sitting here, you're calling Aaron back?
Yeah, I'll talk with Brody, one of us will,
Okay, so.
or we'll talk to Matt.
Yeah, I was gonna say, just somebody take direction after the meeting, and
Yeah.
just take
Some-
that.
Yep. Yep.
There's-
Anything further?
I can talk to you after. Alright, but yes. it
I
is.
just wondered,
Yes.
that's good.
Anything further before we move on?
I was done before he had.
All right. The floor was still yours. I'm not taking it away. John?
I'll make a motion for resolution number 25-21, a resolution waiving competitive bidding and accepting proposal from Civil Contractors, Inc., doing business as Helm Civil for Edson Road chip sealing project in the amount not to exceed $34,558.
Second.
John makes a motion to approve resolution number 25-21. For chip sealing of Edson Road not to exceed $34,558. Nathan seconds, is that correct?
Yes, that was correct.
Discussion?
This was just something we did with not getting with the engineering, has helped keeps the costs down, and Brett feels this is a good price, and based on what we've paid in the past, I think it is as well. And it's something that needs to be done for those who haven't driven the road to see the oils coming back up for the top already, and we're not even into warmer weather. So why is it happening? There's probably half a dozen or more reasons why, but that's just where we at is we gotta fix it.
Tell people to stop driving on it, damn
You do that too.
Well, I think most of that is the light level of trucks that go through
Yeah,
that
it
area,
is.
so farm equipment and things like that,
Last
yeah,
summer.
so.
It's just something we unfortunately have to do, but at the same time, this is affordable enough. We can do it. So that's about it, Rick.
Any further discussion from anyone else? Roll call on that one.
Nathan,
Yes.
Patrick, Chris.
Yes.
Jen,
Yes.
Bill's absent, John.
Yes. That's all I have this evening, unless Brett has additional. That's
I
it,
do not
Rick.
think so.
Thank you, Brett.
Anybody have anything for Patrick here?
I'll make a motion for resolution number 25-23, a resolution approving and authorizing execution proposal from Gas Voto Associates, Inc. for 2 double wall tanks and scales for a water plant.
Hold up, hold up.
In the amount of,
In the amount of,
it doesn't
I
have.
highlighted it, right here, right here, Jen.
$7,365.46.
Okay.
I was looking for a yellow Sharpie marker there. It's blue. It's blue.
Still need a second.
We're waiting on a second.
A second.
John makes a motion to approve resolution number 25-23 for 2 double wall tanks, water plant and scales water plant for in the amount of $7,365.46. Nathan seconds. Discussion.
Any questions?
What are you looking at me for?
Okay, I put it in the
I was.
summary report, but this is mandated by the IEP. We don't touch it.
Love that. Unfunded mandates.
That sounds lovely.
You have no choice, but hey, let's talk about it.
Well, it's far under what we budgeted. No further discussion. Roll call.
Patrick said absent, Chris.
Yes.
Jen,
Yes.
Bill's absent, John.
Yes.
Nathan.
Yes.
I don't think Patrick has anything else, does he, Brett?
7:19.
That's it, Brett. Rick.
All right. Unfinished business. Verizon lease. Jen, Chris.
Nothing.
All right.
You're never gonna hear anything about Verizon lease until it expires.
Chris is waiting for 2 years. Wait, his name's not on that anymore.
Typically, wait until their lease expires, and then you might hear from them. The last thing.
Well, they already tried to do a different lease.
They want to extend it for less money,
Yeah, well, you haven't done anything about the first lease.
You're
right? So,
All right, we'll move on to B.
Are we getting to the point where we're just going to choose to do something about that?
no. it's gonna-
No, we're gonna let it ride.
It's too much money.
Principal will cost you too much money.
Yeah, because their lawyers will just
Oh, the lease,
jerk it
I'm
around.
still stuck in the fixing the
Fence,
wall fence thing.
that's different.
That's not this, that's
They
another
have no
Verizon
idea
issue.
she fixed it or.
Yeah.
got rid of it.
Yeah.
All right, LR lease.
I know.
And Aaron called me today asking where that we stand with it.
Yeah, I did not get it off to Mark, that was, I will make sure that gets done by the end of the evening today, so.
Thank you.
Yep,
With the time.
I don't have an update.
I will still make sure that I obviously had a problem with getting it done last week, so.
LR, did you answer that guy?
No, but he's called everybody else.
He called me today and
He's
I'm
got-
like, let me find out and I'll get
And
back.
I talk to him once a week, so that he's just really antsy because
Right, because it's coming to the end.
coming to the.
And there were some language changes that Sandy had recommendations of that you're sending with it.
Yes, there's some recommendations for that. Most of that we went over in the meeting and all of that got conveyed and at that time. There's still some issues that Sandy, some things that Sandy brought up that were not fixed exactly. So, we in that meeting were okay with some of the language, but apparently for legality, things may need to be changed. So,
What they agreed to and what they wrote down, don't.
Just about you.
That's what he said was gonna do.
before the end of the day, we did.
Alright.
All right, Junction Road tile agreement, John,
I have no update, Rick.
and we don't have Patrick here for the other one. That leaves us with, public.
Here to visit. Thank you for your service.
Thank you for
Thank you
attending.
for coming.
I'm late at another meeting. I thought you started at 6, right?
Yeah, we do.
Yep.
Have a good night.
Used to
You
be
too.
7 though, if that could be.
Yeah, I messed up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You ready for the motion?
We are,
I'll make a motion to go into closed session under 2C1, the appointment, employment compensation, discipline, performance or dismissal of a specific employee, specific individuals who serve as an independent contractor in a park, recreational or educational setting, or specific volunteers of the public body or legal counsel for the public body, including hearing testimony on a complaint lodged against an employee, a specific individual who serves as an independent contractor in a park, recreational or educated setting, or a volunteer of the public body or against legal counsel for the public body to determine its validity. Like more than a mouthful than you.
Second?
John makes a motion to go into closed session under section 2C1. Nathan seconds. That's an all in favor, right? Oh, shit. Roll call. Shoot, I'm sorry, shoot.
Oh, I'm just kidding, yes.
Jen,
Yes.
Bill,
Yeah.
John,
Yes.
Ethan,
Yes.
Patrick,
What is it?
You'll sign the extension for.
you have a minute, you just have to vote real quick.
What?
You just get through the rest and then,
Oh.
we can chat with Matt between closed session.
All right.
and open session.
Everybody voted yes? All right, we are in closed session.
Not yet, Rick. Gotta shut the door.
24,
Shut the
7,
door, Rick.
under 2C1 at 7:24.
thank you.
No.
Oh, man, it's gonna stay.
No, Matt's gonna talk.
Motion to reconvene open session.
John makes a motion to reconvene open session. Chris seconds. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, same sign. We are in open session at 7:53.
Tell me about it.
Possible action on closed session.
Would've been 9 o'clock before.
Are we gonna read all of it?
So the possible action was going to be under Brenda from previously, the approval of employee compensation. I will read it off. So we need a motion to improve employee compensation in the following amounts effective May 1st, 2025. Erica Floyd in the amount of $1. Brent Weaver for pay of $17. Brent Weaver in an amount of 2.5%, on the dollar amount, for a total of $34.75. Jeff Reaver for a total of $19. George Gallardo for a total of $24. Kyle Magnuson for a total of $29.99. Bill White
That's
for a
okay.
total of $19.20. Ben Claren for a total of $17 and Noah Claren for a total of $17. Brenda Onavini for a salaried amount of $75,971.58. Sandy Maz at a salaried amount of $76,534.02. Brett Fergie and an hourly wage of $38.56. And Brody Cook and a new hourly wage of $24.38.
We will allow a violation of Robert's Rules of Order for this.
So make a motion to approve as stated by Sandy.
Yep.
Yep.
Second.
Chris makes a motion to accept the new wages as stated by Sandy. John seconds. Any discussion on the new wages? It's money, roll call.
Chris,
Yes.
Jen,
Yes.
Bill's absent, John,
Yes.
Nathan,
Yes.
Patrick's absent.
That's interesting.
That it?
7:55. Even though it's incorrect. Anything further from anyone?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
John makes a motion to adjourn. Chris seconds. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed, same sign. Adjourn at 7.
When's the next time we
We'll say
Thank you,
55.
everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.